Hi, I'm Kelly Keough, and you're watching The Sweet Truth, where I take the sugar out and keep the sweet in. I didn't start cooking sugar-free just to lose weight. I did it to heal myself from a whole number of symptoms that were related to my sugar addiction. Diabetes is a growing disease that's increasing everyone's awareness of the problems linked to eating sugar. On today's show, we'll make 3 of my signature sweets that are low in glycemic index: chocolate carrot protein cookies, blueberry cornbread muffins, and apple raisin flax jacks. These treats are diabetic safe and good for the whole family. In the U.S., over 20 million people have diabetes. Now, that's a lot of people. So you probably know someone who has it, or you may even have it yourself. This disease is directly related to what we eat. So I want to show you what I make for myself and my diabetic clients. I believe we're all better off diabetic safe than sorry. The major question I hear from my diabetic clients is, how can I eat sweets and still stay healthy? Well, the answer is in learning the truth about foods you can eat that have a low glycemic index. My cooking philosophy is to make sweets with whole grains and add protein so that the dessert becomes a mini meal, using stevia and agave to help regulate blood sugar levels. So that's what we're going to do today. My first recipe is my chocolate protein dehydrator cookies. We're going to start with buckwheat that has been soaked. This recipe uses buckwheat groats that are soaked because buckwheat is better digested when it's soaked overnight. So you would take 3/4 of a cup of buckwheat and put 2 cups of water and put it in the refrigerator. Then I'm going to strain it. Let me get my spatula. Notice how you have to push the water through. And now this is about a cup. It goes right into the food processor. Okay, so I can bring this over, throw it into my food processor. First step down. Okay, let's go to our ingredients. I'm going to start with a 1/2 cup of cooked yam with the skin. I'm a big fan of keeping the skin on because of all the vitamins and minerals. And of course I use organic. 1/2 cup. Why yam? Because yam is the perfect carbohydrate to break down and absorb into the bloodstream slowly so that there's no spike in your blood sugar and the insulin response is minimal. Next, we're going to add 1/3 of a cup of almond butter. Organic, of course. Why almond butter? Because we want to add some good fats to this recipe. Why? Why fats? Well, because fats are going to help the carbs be absorbed more slowly into the bloodstream. This is the key, like I said, our protein powder. 1/2 cup of chocolate protein powder. Now let's add some sweeteners. We have a 1/2 cup of dates. Put it in and squish it in. 2 tablespoons of raw cacao. Okay, our agave, which is 3 tablespoons. Let's add a 1/3 cup of carob powder, which is caffeine-free. We're going to put in a tablespoon of vanilla, 2 teaspoons of cinnamon, because this recipe can handle lots of spice. Buckwheat, even though it looks heavy, it's going to taste really light once it gets dehydrated. But the buckwheat can handle all these spices. And then our goji berries. Oh, one more thing. How could I forget my stevia? Our milk chocolate and vanilla. 2 squirts each. What's great about stevia is that it's diabetic safe. Now, a lot of people have told me, I don't like the taste of stevia. That's because they don't know how to use it with all these ingredients. It's a way to regulate your pancreas and your blood sugar level, I promise. All right, so I'm going to pulse and put it on. And then add my ½ cup of almond milk. Perfect. Nice. You know, I am so used to this. I wake up, I take my soaked buckwheat right out of the refrigerator, get out my food processor, throw in my ingredients, and I'm already spooning on my cookies before I even have my green tea in the morning. That's how much of a habit I've made making these cookies. I'm just going to get out some spoons. Now this is a dehydrator sheet. There's 3 pieces to it. We've got the main sheet. We've got a screen underneath. Show you the screen. But because this batter has liquid in it, we're going to use our Teflex sheet over the screen. So let's just take a scoop. Woo. And then I scoop it right onto the Teflex sheet and turn it into a cookie. Now, halfway through the dehydrating process, I'm going to take all my cookies and slide them with a spatula onto my screen so that they'll dehydrate all the way through. And that's the technique of using the dehydrator. So let me pop a few on here, because then I want to show you what I'm going to do for the topping. Now the topping is for color, cuteness, and taste and crunch, unsweetened coconut. So you just put it on top, and when you dehydrate, the coconut is going to stick right into the cookie. So you can carry these cookies wherever you go. Let's go over to the dehydrator for a minute and set your timer for about 20 hours, and you're going to set your temperature at about 105 degrees. Take your cookies, put them in your dehydrator. Last night I made a batch and they're already ready. Let me show you, oh, how they came out. Look how beautiful those are. This is my cookie. Now these chocolate carob dehydrator cookies, again, are very low in calories and glycemic index. When we come back, a classic recipe that you'll find in every cookbook, the blueberry muffin. Only mine are sugar-free, gluten-free, and backed up with the antioxidant power of organic blueberries. So don't go anywhere. Okay, next, my blueberry muffins. Just say the word muffin and I start to drool. I think that's because we live in a society that worships sweets. And believe me, I am right there at the altar with the rest of them. So don't even try to take my sweets away from me. But all it takes to turn that sugar-laden landmine of a muffin into a nutritious breakfast treat is just a little agave, stevia, and gluten-free flour. And it doesn't cost that much money as compared to the amount of bills people pay who have diabetes. So think of this. This recipe is preventive medicine. And we're going to start by preheating our oven to 350 degrees because this recipe is really quick. All right, in a mixing bowl, we're going to start with 2 organic eggs. And I'm going to take 4 ounces of Greek yogurt, non-fat. I always eat plain organic yogurt for my dairy, and a cup of almond milk. In it goes. I'm going to whisk this together first. Oh, there we go. Next, I'm going to put in my cornmeal and let that start soaking up the liquids, along with a ½ cup of vanilla protein powder. The protein powder allows us to add protein to the recipe in order to slow down the absorption of the carbs in the corn. Okay, next I'm going to put in my vanilla and my cinnamon. Great spices. Let's talk about the sweeteners. Because this show is about being diabetic safe, I want to talk about our stevia. Stevia has a GI or glycemic index of 0. The glycemic index goes from 0 to 100, and 100 being white bread. That's how they rate the glycemic index scale, and what it means is how fast does food spike your blood sugar level? Well, stevia doesn't spike it at all. 0. So in goes 2 teaspoons of our stevia. Let's mix that together first. Let's just do a little whisk action. Lovely. Now 2 tablespoons of agave. My recipe. Okay. Let's whisk that together. Now I believe that I am almost done with my wet mixture, but I'm going to add my 1/4 cup of coconut in my blueberry muffins. Our wet mixture is ready. Let's move on to our dry. This is so easy. I think that you might have heard me talk before about quinoa flour. This is a 1/2 cup. And perfect, goes really well with our corn. Then we're going to take a 1/2 cup of brown rice flour. Again, a gluten-free flour. What does that mean? Well, it doesn't bloat me, it doesn't give me joint pains. I have reactions to wheat, and those are some of the symptoms that you might have as well. Then I'm going to take another gluten-free flour called potato starch, just a 1/4 cup. And then, because we're working with gluten-free flours, we're going to do xanthan gum. Put that in, along with a teaspoon of baking powder and baking soda, and a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Perfect. Now, I'm going to just mix these up. So let's add our dry to our wet. I'm just going to add it in. That's how easy it is. And I'm going to mix it around. The last step is adding 1 cup of fresh organic blueberries. I really love this recipe. My clients order them almost every week because you can eat them as a snack. Let's just add our cup of blueberries. Oh, this batter is beautiful. I am very excited to get it into the tins and into my oven. So I've got my muffin tins here. I just want to show you that I'm using foil liners. Why? Because gluten-free flour is a little sticky. If you use paper, it might stick to your cups. To spoon our batter into our muffin tins, let me use 2 tablespoons. Okay? I'm going to take it, and then what I call this technique is scoop and scrape. Scoop and scrape. So you want to fill them up. Now, you know when you buy blueberry muffins at the coffee shop and there's those great sugar crystals on top that you just can't wait to get in your mouth? Well, we're going to recreate that sugar-free, wheat-free, gluten-free with coconut and agave. I'm going to sprinkle coconut on each one of these muffins. Then I take a little bit of agave and drizzle. It's going to caramelize, and it's going to caramelize the coconut to those sugar crystals that I'm dying to always eat. This is the more healthy way to have a little topping on your blueberry muffin. So let's drizzle. Kiss of love. See, I didn't use that much agave. How neat is that? All right, in the oven, again at 350 degrees for 20 to 25 minutes. Here they are, muffins right out of the oven. Now, because they're gluten-free muffins, you want to cool them on a wire rack. Just pull them right out of the tin and onto your rack. That way the bottoms won't be soggy. I think I want to eat one now, and I'm going to have a taste test. Here we go. See, look how beautifully this foil wrapper comes right off my muffin. Isn't that heaven? Time to take a bite. Just like I like it. Sweet with lots of blueberries. When we come back, my go-to recipe for satisfying my cravings for everything apple, cinnamon, and raisin. I'm going to show you how to make sweet flax crackers called apple flax jacks. Don't go anywhere. This next recipe uses the versatility of flax for optimum health and sweet tooth satisfaction. We'll use golden flax and regular flax. Now, my friend Steve asked me the other day, is one roasted? And the answer is no, they're both in their raw form. There's no nutritional difference. They're equal. It's just that the golden flax has a nutty, sweeter taste, but they really look good together and complement these flax crackers that we're going to make. All right. Now, I eat flax every day because it contains more omega-3 essential fatty acids than any other plant, and it's rich in fiber, protein, and lignans, which improve my immune system, give me hormonal support, and I need all the support I can get, and help to control my cholesterol. So let's get started. I'm going to take a half cup of my golden flax and our regular flax. Then I'm going to put in 2 tablespoons of organic raisins. Organic, of course, we don't want pesticides on our dried fruit. A teaspoon of cinnamon, 2 tablespoons of agave in the whole batch, only 2 tablespoons. That's pretty good. Agave is my sugar-free replacement. And some goji berries. These little hip berries are full of trace minerals, amino acids. They're so full of beta-carotene that they've been known to fight cancer. You're going to put these in the refrigerator and let them soak for at least 8 hours. So it's good to start it at night. Great. I already have a complete bowl of soaked flax. Notice how it's gelatinous. That's going to help the flax crackers stay together on our dehydrator sheet. The one last step is our Fuji apple. We're going to cut it and puree it with a little bit of lemon juice and vanilla stevia. Now, vanilla stevia is great with these apple flax crackers. They go with the cinnamon and agave, and they give it just a little bit of sweetness. Put them in the food processor so quickly because I have this down pat. And a teaspoon of lemon juice and a dropper of vanilla stevia. There we go. We're just going to puree this. Let's pulse it a little. Perfect. I want to take out the blade, get rid of it, put it in the sink, and now I can show you that I didn't exactly puree all the way. I chopped very fine, and I'm going to put it into my crackers. When this combination comes out of that dehydrator, you won't believe the taste. It is so sweet, chewy, and satisfying. And these apples now are going to dehydrate, so we're going to get all the benefits of the organic Fuji apple peel. All right. This batter is ready to go to its next level of excellence. I'm going to take my dehydrator tray. It has underneath it a dehydrator screen. This is for batters that aren't too runny, so we have to start with our Teflex sheet like this on our tray. This batter makes 2 full sheets of flax crackers, so I'm going to spread it through the whole sheet. So just put half of it on, just dump it right in the middle. There it goes. Use your wrist. It really isn't like the wrist action of baking. That's what is so fun. Now it looks like a big pizza, a big flax pizza, a big flax frisbee. So it's ready to fly into the dehydrator. Come with me. We're going to dehydrate this for 12 hours at 105 degrees. So take the top off of your dehydrator. So I happen to have one already made. here we go. Now, notice how this flax cracker is now on the mesh rack. That's because halfway through the dehydrating process, I peeled off my flax cracker, removed my Teflex sheet, and put it on my screen so that the air from the dehydrator could make this really crisp and dehydrate all the way through. You can fold them up and rip them apart. When I make them for my clients, I bring them over to a cutting board and I cut into crackers. See, they cut so beautifully. You can cut them into little crackers. Let me taste. Remember, just because you've got to eat sugar-free doesn't mean you have to give up satisfaction of sweets. I didn't. We'll talk more about living a satisfying sugar-free life when we come back. My great-grandmother died from diabetes, but now we have the knowledge and food options to nourish our bodies and steer clear the dangers of sugar. Because diabetes and obesity run in my family, it's a constant struggle for me to fight these genetic diseases. The fact is that everyone can benefit from low glycemic, diabetic safe foods. I make them every day for myself to satisfy my sweet tooth. I feel dramatically different when I eat this way. And I've seen this eating practice heal very sick people and give them back their sweet life. The sweet truth is that eating sugar-free will affect many of us in positive ways. Body, mind, spirit. It's opened my eyes and changed my life. And it can do the same for you too.